Hi, my name's Jackie Haynes, and as far as I know, I had the first rave in Manchester. I know in London, I went to Heaven in London, and it was a similar sort of music going on. You know, it was a nationwide scene, but as far as I know, nobody had organised a party where people had to actually get out of the city and not be able to get home until it had finished. Well, it was in October, and it was actually my 22nd birthday party, which was by the by, as it happened. I don't think I got many cards. And I was in Nottingham on a placement from college when it was my 21st birthday. So when I came back to Manchester, my auntie and uncle, whose barn it was, said, "Why don't you have a party to celebrate your 21st birthday, seeing as you weren't here?" And then the people I was sharing a house with at the time, we all sort of put our heads together and decided to make tickets and organise a coach. And I was really surprised actually, because I said to my uncle, "What time can it go on till?" thinking we'd have to get there, at tea time, and it had finished by 11. And he said, "Well, it's in the countryside, it doesn't really matter, it can go on till 6, 7 o'clock. So I was really quite surprised. So then I realised that we could start it later, which was better because people could go and meet up in bars and stuff beforehand, and then get on the boat, the coach it was, and go out, in a normal club sort of time frame. So at that time there was some T-shirts around saying, "This isn't Manchester, this is a trip." And on the tickets we put, "This isn't Manchester, this is a coach trip." Well, they live in Lim, which is quite a small-ish village, but they actually lived outside of Lim in the country lanes, so it's quite near the motorway, but far enough away for it to be like a magical mystery tour, really. It's a 17th century farmhouse with a barn attached to it, and the barn had been done out for having parties. There's toilets and a little kitchen and, seats, and it wasn't like we were pushing farm implements out of the way. What happened was, because I was working in the corner house at the time, this guy called Morgan came round handing out what were then to be called flyers, which was quite a new thing anyway. And I said, "Oh, where did you get these printed?" And then we got talking, and then he helped me arrange the night, and he got the DJs in, and he got somebody to drive a van. And I remember waking up on the morning of the party thinking, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" Because it sort of felt like it was getting bigger and bigger, not just like a birthday party with people on the coach who I knew that, I did know them because we were going to my uncle and auntie, so I didn't want, to start inviting total strangers. We set off from Manchester in this van, me and my friend Jenny, and we only knew Morgan really, who I spoke to about the flyers, and we went all round Hume, round the Crescents, picking up various blokes with boxes of records, and it was dark because it was October, and it started to feel like really edgy, and then we had to sort of make our way down to Lim, and we were quite nervous really. I was thinking, who are these people and what are we doing? And it was a great setup because it was like the hacienda. It had a DJ. The DJs were above the crowd on a balcony, and that made for a really good atmosphere. And then the coaches started to arrive, and it was all going really, really well. But then it got to about 2 o'clock, and somebody had let the address out they weren't supposed to, and basically loads of people piled down after the hacienda, which might not sound like a big deal now because that's what people would have done after then anyway, but it was like, I just could not believe that people had paid probably about 40 quid or something to get a taxi from the hacienda to me birthday party in Lim. It's probably a lot to do with the DJs really, because they had a bit of a following, and it was also supposed to be a secret location. But it kind of made it really, because it just sort of took on another dimension, and then next thing everyone's saying, "Barney's here from New Order," and there's all this like excitement really about all these people turning up, but then it got louder and louder, and people, you know, were into blowing whistles at that time. And I think so far the noise hadn't carried to where my auntie and uncle were next door. But halfway through the night, my uncle came in his pyjamas and pushed through the crowds to find me, and he was really, really annoyed. He was, "Jacqueline, can you tell those people to stop blowing their bloody whistles?" So I had to go around to all these like cheesy quavers, like tapping on their shoulder and say, "Can you stop blowing your whistle, please?" Then the next thing that went pear-shaped was the van driver decided to go home, and so we were stuck. When all the coach and all the people had gone, we were stuck with, you know, the DJs, all the stuff, and a few other DJs' friends. And I remember Paul Cons saying to me, "Can you go and ask your auntie if we can buy a bottle of brandy off her?" And I said, "Oh God, please don't make me do that." You know, they're already like really not happy with this. And also my friend Steph, who was helping me organise it, she was getting everybody onto the coach, but people were like walking on with pots of plants that they just helped themselves to from the garden, and she like made everybody march off with the pots of plants, so that worked out alright. But it kind of went really kind of wrong, but in a really, really good way. I bet there's about 200 in the end, because I said to my uncle, you know, obviously, what's the capacity? And he said, about 100. And that just filled it nicely, you know. But then when people started piling down after the clubs were finished, I reckon there's about 200 jammed in there. But, you know, it made it really, really like a proper, well, rave, I guess. We went back to our student accommodation eventually in Fallowfield, and that night was Sunday night, and Tony Wilson had a programme called The Other Side of Midnight, and we were just watching it, you know, and he dedicated whatever music was on, I can't remember, it might have been Yargo or somebody, he dedicated it to everybody who was at the barn party in Lim last night. So we're like, oh my God, we just had our party mentioned on telly. And I think, if going back to the rave thing, if the word rave had been in use at that point, he would have said, "This is for all the people who were at the rave last night in Lim." So that kind of stuck in my mind. I'm not saying because I had a party people started copying it. I just think the time was right for that kind of fun, really. Getting out of the city, going somewhere different that was like really an unusual setting. You know, like they have a lot of warehouse parties, and I think it was just that spirit of the times of just doing something off your own back. People really remembered it and thought it was, you know, fabulous and sort of out of this world, really. It was a bit of a shock for us all, I think, who went. I just didn't realise how mega it was going to be. I did ask my uncle and auntie what they thought about, you know, if we could have another. And I think they were really, really pleased that I'd had such a good time, and friends had had a good time, and they were really chuffed that it was mentioned, you know, on the telly programme, and that people like New Order came and all the rest of it. So, but the answer was no. Although I did go on to have parties there, you know, after a few years had gone by, but nothing quite as groundbreaking as that, really.